Camera. Lights, camera. Action.
Started.
Woo.
Hi.
Networking and internship.
Yeah.
Just edit that part out.
Yeah, fine.
Hi, I'm Jasmine,
And Mariah.
And Alyssa.
and today we're talking about internships and networking.
Oh, me? Guys, I don't have that much experience because nobody wants to give me an internship.
Oh,
That's real.
that's real.
That's real.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a very valid point because a lot of people always be like, they'll emphasize how, internships and internships and internships, and it's so important, but they fail to be like, they're not realistic with it because they act like you can just pull an internship out of thin air. And it's so hard. I feel like it's so hard to actually obtain the internship because reaching out to people, okay, you can reach out to people all you want. They're not responding, I don't feel like. Like, people don't respond, or you're just doing the internship because you're being told, this is something that you need to do in college, not necessarily like, this actually aligns with something I want to do career-wise or what I'm, like, majoring in and things like that. I feel like people push, like, internships and how it's such a big deal, but they don't necessarily, like, talk about how not realistic, like, this. I feel like it's more like an aesthetic thing when it comes to how people talk about internships. More so, like, tapping into reality and being like, internships are actually kind of hard to obtain, especially depending on your major. And we're communication majors, a lot of us. I feel like for us, internships are everywhere, but nowhere at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'll also say, I went to the internship fair that Morgan just had about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was actually very interesting to go there because there were so many people there. But I will say 2 things. One, a lot of the franchises or businesses that were there were only catered to STEM and business.
And
that
that's
was
why I
it.
stopped going to the career
Yeah,
fair because they never have anything catered for outside of STEM. Because I've went every year since freshman year. This is the first year I didn't go because I was just I'm tired of being disappointed. I go there, I ask, even though I know they're gonna say yeah, I don't really think we have anything for you. But I got tired of going over there.
Yeah, and that's my second thing. A lot of the people that I talked to, they didn't even have internships. They were just there. They were just
promote themselves.
They were just there to promote themselves. They were just at a table and they were giving out free stuff, but they weren't giving out internships.
Right.
How are you at an internship fair and you're not giving out internships?
Right.
That is what throws me off a lot of it because there was I think there was at least maybe 100 tables there.
Yeah.
And for not all 100 or however many tables were there to not have an internship, why were you there?
Right.
That's my whole
defeating
thing.
the purpose of being
You're defeating it's literally called an internship fair.
Right.
Not a networking fair.
Right.
Yes, okay, great. You got some networking opportunities, okay, but what is that going to do for you?
Right.
Especially
When they're not in your field.
when they're not in your field, and also
Right.
it's April and it's about to be summer and people are looking for summer internships.
Right.
Or some of the people, they had internships but were the internship we have is full now, we don't have anything else. Maybe you can try next year. Next year?
Right.
Next
what?
year?
I'm
By
gonna be
then,
a senior.
right. By then,
why are
I'm
you
just gonna give me a
here?
part-time job.
Yeah, at that point, please, do you have any actual applications? Can I apply somewhere? Do you have a job open for me?
Right.
Forget the internship, but
And
that is my biggest pet peeve right now. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
Literally.
why are you here?
Right.
And I applied to so many, and the worst thing about internships too is that if it's at a big company, most of the time they don't even email you back to tell you that you didn't get the role. I was so
Yeah.
shocked when I got 2 emails the other day because I applied for something at Warner Brothers, something at Odyssey. I was so shocked when they actually emailed me to tell me I didn't get the role because I was just I thought I was just gonna go unknown.
Right.
For the rest of the
Because a
time.
lot of people do that.
Yeah, they
you'll
just kind of ghost
never-
you. But it's real
Like-
unprofessional when we ghost companies. But y'all do it to us all the time.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then
Let's talk
and
about
then
it,
thingy is just well, we get so many applicants, we can't really inform. You can inform the people who didn't get an interview. It's not that hard.
Like, you
a
literally
nice
have
automatic
you have
email.
my information. You can let me
Literally
know.
just an auto email. Sorry, you weren't selected. Thank you. Try again.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it.
Or
That's
don't.
all I need. I
Literally.
just need to know where a yes. And
Right.
you just leaving me undelivered is crazy.
Right.
I'm sorry. I did all that work. I gave you the recommendation letter. I gave you my resume. I gave you a cover letter.
Right.
I gave you everything that I needed. All you had to do was tell me yes or no.
Right. And then to piggyback off what you said, like, you know, internships, a lot of them are like pushing for STEM roles. Even that, being a former STEM role, I went to a whole ass conference in Texas, SWE, which is Society of Women Engineers. I went there. Oh my goodness, the requirements is crazy. Like for internship, you have to have a lot of them always require experience. How am I gonna bring experience if nobody's hiring? You know what I mean? Because like it was like Cat, it was Walmart there. They had Apple there, and of course they always want you to bring your resume and this, that, and third. Half the people are so hard to even talk to. Then let's talk about, you know, always getting LinkedIn, because everybody wants to push for getting LinkedIn. People don't respond. Honestly, LinkedIn is just like a professional Instagram. I'm just watching what y'all do.
Literally. And then also to piggyback off of that, it really is just a professional Instagram, because why am I getting spam DMs from a professional app?
Right.
Why are people talking about, hey Jasmine, do you want to learn how to do da 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 da?
No,
I'm like,
I don't.
And then it's always asking me, oh, pay this much amount, you could upgrade to talk more to. I don't want to talk to. No. Like, it's so...
Like, the fact that I have to pay to get a job is so wild.
Like,
or do, like, so many
steps.
Like, right, to do so many steps, like you were saying, cover letter, resume, recommendations, word of mouth, somebody got to vouch for me in some type of capacity, it's a lot. And for people to always be like, oh, yeah, internships are so important, they make or break your, like, career matriculating through college. That's a damn lie, honestly. I work full time, and I go to school full time, and I work with Marriott. Like, I have like potential to grow in my like current role at my job without having to get an internship. I just work, and I work at the front desk and things like that. So it's like when people be like, oh, they push internships and how important they are, they don't always tell you, you know, yes, it's the networking portion that's important. Getting the internship is just a plus if you get it, because it will most likely like introduce you into like the real world aspect of what your field would look like. Like, again, being in communications, like if you do PR, you go intern for a PR agency, they're going to introduce you to what it looks like in the real world, because being in college, I feel like it's not necessarily like it's not the real world, but I feel like it's more I don't know what word I'm looking for,
Real
but it's
adjacent.
Yeah, in a way, it's more like anyway, I can't figure out the word, but they kind of like closet us in. They give us like the tips and tricks of what it could be, but it's not like the reality of what it would look like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we would go into these roles, like they tell us, hey, if you do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, this is what it will look like. But that's not the reality of it, because I was just in Dr. Duckett's class the other day. No, Dr. Powell's class the other day, talking to this lady who is an alum from Morgan State, but she went to Morgan, then she left Morgan, went and did whatever she did with her life, runs a whole PR agency and ad agency and things like that, and then came back and was like, oh yeah, she just wanted to end up getting the degree. But she had the experience because she did the work outside, and she did it herself. Like, she didn't necessarily go find somebody to assist her. That's what the internship is. It's like a guided process in a way. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's
That's
just
really
somebody
all it
helping
is.
you, but
Just holding your hand.
yeah,
through the
just
whole
holding your
process,
hand,
yeah.
do it through it, because at the end of the day,
they might give you a job.
right?
if
They
you do
might,
really
and
good.
that's the thing. They might give you a job if they like what you did and da da da. So it's like, it's all about like networking and it's like a popularity contest, really. It's like they say, it's like my mom always said that to me. It's not what you know, but who you know.
Yeah.
Because you might look good on paper, but if you go to that job but they don't like you, but you're not getting the job.
Yeah.
And if you have potential, but you don't have you're not hitting all the boxes. If you have potential and you're willing to learn, they're most likely going to pick that person over the person that has got every single box checked, but they're like, oh, they don't have the personality, or they don't have, like, they're missing some type of something that the company wants or whatever. So it's just like, it's all just about, it's a hit or a miss. You know, you can or you can't. So it's just a learning experience, but it's kind of hard. And it's like very discouraging too, because it's like after so many, like you were saying, they don't even, if they don't tell you, you know, you apply to something, they don't tell you nothing. That disappointment sets in because you don't even go to the career fair no more. Neither do I. Because, first of all, why?